Hello everybody and welcome back to another WorldBox video. Today we are going to have one demigod who we are going to call Link because we are on the Breath of the Wild map. We are going to give them these traits, which is attractive, fertile, healing aura, immortal, and blessed. And then we are going to have 100 orcs. And the orcs we are just going to give strong. And then we are also going to add the dwarves up here. And the dwarves will just give them 150, won't give them any special traits or anything. And then the elves we will spawn down here, and we'll also not give them any special traits or anything. Let's speed this up for a bit and let them get established. Interesting, the elves are not even maintaining their population, whereas the dwarves population is going up. The orcs population is staying completely stagnant, and the demigods population has gone up significantly. Now we're starting to see them expand their kingdoms, starting up new villages a little bit further out, but the orcs are losing population. The elves have stagnated a little bit more. They might be gaining now, and the dwarves are really gaining, and the demigods are kind of building towards the desert. Not exactly the smartest tools in the shed. The elves want to go to war with the orcs. Let's see how this goes. Do the elves have bows? Looks like they're just whacking them with sticks. The first unit that the orcs sent in was their king, and he's actually not dead yet. He's doing pretty well. Are the orcs fighting back well? And I think I see the elven king in here, and he's got the Kingslayer trait even, so he killed the enemy king. He's got Content, Golden Tooth, Wise, Miracleborn, Genius, Moonchild. This guy's got very good traits for just coming about randomly, but he is dead now. And honestly, it looks like the orcs are winning, even though the elves have more population. Orcs are very physically strong. Elves do really well when they actually get the bows, but it doesn't seem like the elves have the bows, and they're gonna have a bad time right now. And you can just see the orcs in here just beating up the children. They have no mercy. How are the dwarves and the demigods doing? The dwarves population is getting huge. The demigods population has grown massively since they started, but it's not anywhere near what the dwarves got. Meanwhile, the elves' main village has been completely wiped out. They still got these smaller villages around, and they're not completely out of the game yet, but they aren't doing too well. Attacking the orcs early is never a good idea. They are just too physically strong, especially when we're talking these orcs that have the strong trait. Looks like the elves are probably going to survive this though, from what I can see. They've got a ship, meaning they can at least store a couple people on there. It would really be in their best interest to declare peace as quickly as possible here. And they've actually got pretty advanced ships over here. Oh, and look, their entire nation is children. Where did all the adults go? Come on, we need some adult supervision over here. This might be it for the elves. If they're just all children, how are they supposed to survive? Oh, and the demigods have made their way over to these houses over here, and they are starting to colonize them. So maybe going towards the desert wasn't all that bad an idea, because these houses are all completely free over here for them. And the orcs actually want to declare peace, but it looks like the dwarves have declared war on the elves. They are definitely going to die right here. And the dwarves are just going straight through the demigods land, and I don't know where they think they're going, but it looks like they're making it. Just a little mountain pass here, and they're all going over to the elves, and as soon as these guys get there, they are as good as dead. And the dwarves have even taken over this like fiery area over here. They've taken over some of this mushroom area. Most of the grasslands have already taken over. They're getting into some frosty areas, and humans have a little situational advantage here with all these empty houses on the map. They're the only ones who can take these because humans were the last ones inhabiting them. Oh, and look, the elves, they're being completely taken out. I think the last ones are on this boat over here. So they're not completely down and out yet until this boat is gone, and it's gone now. This one archer over here is completely taking them down, and the orcs are expanding, although they're probably past the point of having that strong trait anymore. So I'd imagine the dwarves will likely win this, unless the traits in the demigods are really good. Let's speed this up again for a bit. The demigods are flourishing with this free housing. Their population is catching up to the dwarves quickly. The dwarves have had this high population for longer though, and they develop very quickly. They might have some better gear than the demigods have. And the orcs are expanding their territory like crazy, but their population isn't going up very much yet. And the dwarves did a good job cutting off the demigods from coming over here and taking over these free houses as well. They just took over this land in between, and now the humans will likely not go past there without starting a war, that is. Oh, and speak of the devil, here come the demigods looking to declare war. Oh, on the orcs. Okay. Okay, and the dwarves also want to declare war. Who are they going to war with? The orcs. Both the dwarves and the demigods have decided, let's get rid of the orcs. And the orcs just have way too many people against them. The orcs are very physically strong, so they'll live a little bit longer in battle than the humans or the dwarves will. But when there's this many troops coming after you, you're gonna have a hard time. And all the dwarves troops are coming around. Looks like there's a couple over here as well that they're fighting with and just absolutely whooping. And the humans' whole army just moved right through here, no problem. And they're targeting this area up here, it seems. And the dwarves have pretty much taken over about half the map, whereas the demigods only have a quarter, but they're at very similar populations. And that's because the demigods got all these free houses down here. They didn't have to build those. And the orcs are just being absolutely demolished over here. All the dwarves are together now, and the dwarves have bows, whereas the humans still don't have bows. Not developing bows in this game is a death sentence. So I think the dwarves are actually going to win this. Now, it doesn't seem like the dwarves have many bows still, but the fact of the matter is they have bows. Even 1 or 2 bows versus 0 bows is way better. And the dwarves over here actually got repelled going from that path, although there is another small group over here that could keep fighting with them. The orcs population is down a ton, and it looks like the demigods are preparing to declare peace, but not before destroying this whole city over here. That way they can expand some more. And the dwarves are at a separate war with them, so they're gonna have their way with them for a bit first. Just a couple dwarves down here doing a lot of damage, and this orc army actually looks large enough to take out these dwarves, but once the main army hits them, they are not going to have a good time. And here comes a portion of the main army, and it's looking like they're outnumbered about 10 to 1 for each of their army members, so they're just not having a good time. The dwarves are shooting them with arrows as well before they even get in the fights, and look how far away they can shoot with bows in this game. From all the way over here to all the way over here. Might not seem that far, but that's really far for how long it takes to run that far, and that's why bows are so good in this game. Now, meanwhile, the demigods are kind of expanding into this land here. They're taking this time expanding. The dwarves have also been expanding downward, but not as fast as the demigods have been expanding to the east over here. That doesn't mean the dwarves would lose to the demigods, though. There is still a technology aspect here, and they still have more population than the demigods do, even though I think the demigods population is going to go up really quickly here. And the orcs look like they're getting wiped out completely here by the dwarves, and the demigods are looking to declare war. Who are they looking to declare war on? Is it the orcs again, or are they trying to declare war on the dwarves? Orcs are about to go under. The orcs are out of business, and the demigods were looking to declare war on the orcs, but the orcs are gone now, so that war proposal has ended. Let's speed this up for a bit and see where this goes. Okay, guys, they've taken over pretty much all of the available land other than this island over here, and sometimes it takes them a really long time to colonize islands. The dwarves have 5,000 population, and the demigods have 2,900. That's because the dwarves have about 2/3 of the map, and the demigods have about 1/3. I believe they're allied, so it could take them a really long time to go to war, so instead of doing that, I'm gonna whisper a war here, and we're just gonna get this started. And immediately, the dwarves have an army sitting right on the edge with the humans, and they're going in there immediately. Humans do have bows now, so they're not completely behind on tech, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if the dwarves still had better tech. Looks like the dwarves are just absolutely overwhelming them with massive numbers over here. How about down here? The humans are overwhelming the dwarves over here with massive numbers, and there's a giant dwarf over here. But it looks like they do have very large armies in here. They're just trying to figure out how to send them out to go fight the humans. And the dwarves are just absolutely burning down everything the humans have built over here. And wow, their sheer number of soldiers is impressive. And here we have the human king. This is the first demigod that we spawned in, and they got voices in their head, which makes their diplomacy worse and their opinion worse, which makes it harder for them to expand. That explains a lot. And even though they had all these good traits, it still just wasn't enough because they got that voices in their head trait. They needed something more like ambition or something like that. And they're running right in there into the middle of the dwarven army, trying to protect their people. Respectable, respectable. But they're on 300 health now, and we're probably going to see them die. I think that it just died right there. Yep, their king is gone, and it looks like the dwarves finally got their army members down here at this little peninsula where they can cross over and fight the humans, and they have a much larger army than the humans do, even though the most of the humans' army is over here. And the dwarves are clearing the demigods out of their original area. area. And to even call them demigods anymore is probably not accurate because the original demigod is gone, meaning those traits are likely gone. What does the dwarf king look like? Golden tooth, wise, bloodlust, paranoid, attractive, and he's a miner. And he's got some pretty decent gear on, although he's still using a stick as a weapon. And the dwarves have lost barely any population during this, and their population is in fact going back up again. Meanwhile, the demigods are at about half of their original population. They're just kind of filing in here. The demigods have basically no army members. And look at all these people over here. The only danger to them being out here is that they're starving to death. And they're burning the farms, which is always a good method of killing your enemy. They still got 2 farms over here, but they're not producing fully, it looks like. This has got to be over 1,000 dwarves going in here to kill the demigods. Overkill much? And they're destroying their whole little city here that they got for free. And even though they had this natural advantage, they still got nothing on the dwarves this game. And here goes the last of their people, their last farm, their last house. And there we go. The dwarves are victorious, ending with a population of 6,200. If you guys liked this video, make certain to subscribe for more.